Hey guys, this is Troy with CapeAnd Conversations, and today I've got the Masshole Biscuit Company with CaSandra and Noel with me. I'm gonna pass it over to you guys to give us the how you got started in this one story.
Well, it goes all the way back to COVID, and we started by baking some dog treats. It was actually Noel's idea, and I always say the only cookie cutter that we had in the house was a Massachusetts-shaped cookie cutter. It wasn't like, oh, we thought this would be so cute. That was the option, and we weren't going out to get another one.
And I really needed a hobby.
And Noelle is from New York, actually, which is also another fun fact, I feel like. And so they were like, well, what if we poked a hole out of this? We could call it Mass Hole. That's funny. And then we thought about it a little bit further and we were like, wait a minute. If we poke this little treat out, we've got like a big treat and a training treat. And then we were like, okay, all right, that's not a bad idea. And then it became a COVID hobby. We sent a few bags to like our family and friends and then kind of forgot about it. And then in April of 2023, we both got laid off from like our corporate marketing jobs. I always say it's a week apart to the day. Like, how crazy is that? That it was just insane. And so we spent a little while like looking for jobs. And then Noel picked up the dog treat hobby again. And I was like, I'm going to sign us up for some farmers markets. And then I was like, it only is like $1 for a month of Shopify. Let's see if we get online. Like, what could happen if we get online? And then I just kind of kept signing us up for farmers markets, and you kept recipe testing, and
Yeah, it's funny. This hobby went on for from 2020 to about 2023, so about 3 years of hobby. And I would say within a week and a half, we were all of a sudden had a domain, a spot at a farmer's market, and we were like shopping for like banners to kind of build out our booth. So it's crazy how quickly we sped up in that time.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your actual own dogs.
We've got two. Their names are Duck and Spark. Duck is our oldest, and we had him when we lived in Chelsea in the city, so we always call him our little city dog. And he's an old man. He loves to just lounge and be comfy. And then we got Spark also during COVID in 2021. And so he is pure COVID baby, second child energy. Like, I always call him a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah, I think we were really good examples of the people who got their first dog and he was like perfect, quiet. We didn't hear him bark for over a year. And then, like Cassandra was saying, Spark has real second child energy, bouncing off the walls. Like, he just is so, like, has so much energy and is the polar opposite. So they're quite a funny little pair. Um,
And the whole company started around these biscuits, these Masshole biscuits, right? I know about it, but I need you to tell everybody that's listening to this about these biscuits, how they're differentiated. The the fact that they're basically like human grade food in them from a quality perspective. And you're making them yourselves, by hand effectively. So there's like just all the love put into these. But tell the audience about what type of biscuits we have, some of the flavors you've got going on, and the key differentiator between this whole and the big biscuit.
Yeah, so I think talking about differentiators, I'll start with the shape. So obviously they're shaped like Massachusetts, which is fun just to begin with, but it also gives us a bit of a bigger treat. So when your dog is being your best friend, is doing something really good, you want to give him that reward. It's a good size. We have the small one, can go in your pocket, um, and is just easier to dispense as a training treat. But flavors wise, when we talk to people, one thing I like to say is they're kind of Ben and Jerry's like. All of our add-ins are nice and chunky. So in our beef stew flavor, you're seeing chunks of dehydrated pot roast, full peas, and carrots. In our uh, chicken broccoli Alfredo flavor, you can see the pieces of broccoli, you can see the chunks of Parmesan cheese in there. So when people are kind of like, oh, how would I tell the difference if I had more than one flavor? I always like to tell people, you can see what's in there. You can see the chunks of apples, the chunks of cheese. So it makes it easy for you to see, but it also makes it a lot easier for your dog to taste it.
Yeah, there's if there are dog owners listening to this. Dog owners love their dogs like their kids, and they're willing to spend the extra money to get their dog something of high quality. I mean, I had a chocolate lab. Unfortunately, we lost her a couple of years ago, but if you got her something that was sort of a cheap brand of food, she'd get, like rashes on her skin and you couldn't do it anymore. It just you had to get the oatmeal shampoo and the better food and all this stuff. Otherwise it was like they're needy and we need to take care of them. And so I see this type of brand being created all over the place because I actually run a couple e-commerce companies myself, and I had gotten connected with a few people that ran dog brands, dog focused brands, and it's like the baby products industry a little bit in the sense that people just really like to spoil their dogs,
Yes.
which is a great market to be in.
It absolutely is. People will spend a lot of money on their dogs to make sure that their dogs are comfortable. I think part of it has to do with the fact that your dog can't talk to you. So the fact that they're itchy or have, different bowel movements, that's how they're telling you that the stuff that you're getting isn't working. And I think for us, like, we didn't create this treat brand for our dogs. We created this treat brand for other humans like us. Like when we were going to our parents' house and our parents were trying to feed the dog milk bones, and we're like, please don't. Like, you don't even know what's in there. Or even some of the treats that we were getting were like healthy. They always had like molasses in them or some other type of like preservative that is okay, but I don't really eat molasses. It's not something I would eat. So we created these treats really thinking about like, okay, would I want to eat this? And if I would want to eat it, then okay, I will feed it to my dog.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see the prevalence in like, was it like Farmer's Dog or something like that? The food brands too. It's like real food. It's like refrigerated dog food too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's you're onto something from that perspective. So you mentioned earlier you just signed you baked a few biscuits. You signed yourself up for a few farmers markets. How did it go? Where did you go? Where did you start? How like
The first one we did was up in Newburyport, and we did it right around this time of year. People were switching over from summer to fall, kind of getting ready for a holiday. And I think with every person that came up to the table, we just kind of looked at each other and went, they bought one.
yeah.
And it was like everyone. I still think even to today, we were saying the other day, when we get an order like that, we're like, oh my God, we got one. So that excitement was really big on that day.
For sure. I felt like people were just like, oh, this is a great idea. And then, there was also a lot of learnings. Like when we very first started, we had chicken broth in all of our treats. We thought, oh, let's add some extra flavor. We don't need to be cheap and add water. Well, a bunch of dogs are allergic to chicken.
Really?
Yes, it's a very common allergy. And actually, both of our dogs are allergic to eggs, which is interesting because they're not allergic to chicken. But if you buy any type of chicken food, usually there are eggs in it. So, anyways, there was a lot of learnings, but a lot of people were so positive that first time. And I mean, I don't know. We've had family who's done like arts and crafts and like other things where they've gone to markets, and you're like, oh, I barely even broke even. I didn't even make my table. We netted like $700 that day, and I know like in the grand scheme of things that's not a lot, but for our very first event we were expecting to make like, I don't know, $100, and we were like, wait a minute, people like this.
And you sell out and you're like, oh, I gotta go make more.
Yes.
I gotta go do more of these. And since like you can see it even on your website today, they're like, it's like upcoming events tag or something like that. There's like 9 farmers markets coming up, and that you just did. I forget exactly which dates they were, but like that's a huge seed for the rest of your business. I mean, you go out and you create that groundswell. People will come and reorder from you on e-commerce, subscribe to your products, and then you get reach word of mouth, and it's off to the races. And now you've got yourself going from farmer's market to storefront. Mm-hmm. So tell everybody about where you're going to be and what's our timing on this.
Well, real quick, the reason, to your point, you talked about selling out. So for right now, we're baking everything in our home kitchen. We bought one tiny little dehydrator from Costco, and we were like, all right, this is going to be it. Like, we got it. I think it's actually like a convection oven. And then I was like, all right, that market was great. I signed us up for a few more markets. And then we were like, well, we need some more oven space. Like, we can't meet the demand. So now in our tiny home kitchen, we have like 5 of these small convection ovens just taking up every single space. And we kept selling out at every event that we went to. And so we kind of finally decided we need to move out of our home kitchen. This isn't functional anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a really long stretch of time where the only thing we were making in that home kitchen was dog treats. I don't, home cooked meal.
You're
Forget
like
about
eating
it.
out every night because you're just constantly dehydrating dog biscuits.
Yep.
Yep, it's a
24/7.
whole kitchen takeover.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we started, looking for some kitchen space to be able to expand out. And, as we were thinking about it, we were like, to your point, the number of brands kind of with the same ethos of like, we're not trying to, make a comparison to a human food. We're trying to feed our dogs human food, right? I'm not trying to find something that impersonates what looks like chicken pot pie. I'm going to take all the ingredients that are in that food and put them here. So we thought, while looking for that kitchen space, like, what if we were able to find a kitchen space, sell our own treats, but also start to bring in those brands that we do want to give to our dogs, that our friends are saying, oh yeah, have you tried this? Or, hey, my dog has really bad allergies. This works really well for them. Like, what can we do to get that into the hands of more people who feel like us, where it's like, I just wish I had something I could give to my parents to give to my dog that I felt good about, that I'm not going to pay for later.
Yeah, you know where it's made. You know
Right.
the people that are making it behind it. It's the antithesis of Petco or some like giant company that is just sourcing Iams. Like, tell me where Iams is made. It's not in your kitchen, not in your home kitchen with 5 dehydrators running 24/7. That's
Yeah.
people today just aren't looking for that.
Right, and it's actually been really interesting as we've kind of started looking for brands to carry in the store, that you're seeing some of these brands that our friends and family who are caring about what they're giving to their dog, these brands won't stock themselves in a Petco. We've run into a couple of brands that are saying, we want verification that you are a small pet store, because they don't want to sell out to the Petco. So you're like, okay, the people going to Petco aren't even getting these options. Like, what can we do to bring them in?
Yeah. So where's the store? Give us the
Store
deets.
is 137 Main Street here in Gloucester. It is right across the street from Toodaloo's, a couple doors down from Bravo Pizza. And it recently got a painted facelift. So instead of the white and red building that you were used to, it is all our brand blue, which is very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
When can people we open today?
We are not open yet. The story of opening a retail location could fill this entire podcast. We had lots of contractors, electrical. The space did not have a commercial kitchen in it. It was a poke place, so they had like cold food, but there was no cooktops, none of that. So we had to install all of that. So as of right now, we're looking for our grand opening event is going to be mid-November, November 16th.
Perfect.
Yeah, so pretty close to our 1-year anniversary of that first farmers market we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And do the farmers markets, do they technically go away in the winter?
Yeah, they do. So, like last year, we really scrambled to find a couple of winter markets and like make our own winter events. We partnered with a lot of breweries, any of that were like dog friendly inside specifically were super helpful to us. There are a couple winter markets. I know like there's going to be a new one at True North Brewing this year, hosted by like the Ipswich Homegrown Farmers Market. And then we always really do well at the one in Chelmsford, which is also changing hands. So
Gonna
it
be
used
at
to be at
Weston.
Maxwell's. Now it's going to be at Weston Nurseries.
Okay. So tell everybody where they can find you outside of the storefront. You do have an e-commerce store. It's a Shopify store, right? So if you're listening to this and you don't, live in Gloucester, or you don't come onto the island, which you should, by the way. Downtown Gloucester is great. It's fantastic. There's plenty of stores to go make a day of it. Plenty of food, restaurants to go hit up. Web address. Start there.
It is MassholeDogBiscuitCo.com.
Instagram.
Masshole Biscuit Co. And you can find more information about the store at Masshole & Co. We're on Instagram. And then that web address will also direct you back to our biscuit site for right now.
And we'll share it ourselves too for you guys. What's coming up in the future then? We've got all this going on. Are we launching any new products that we can talk about today, or are we going to have you back once it's already done?
I think we can give some hints. I think CaSandra had nodded to last winter. We started a lot of pop-ups at breweries, dog-friendly breweries. You know, what a great combo for you to be able to come in and get a treat for yourself and for your dog. One of the things that we were seeing in those breweries that admittedly every time we go, I'm like, I want to be a part of that, is a mug club. So, you know, keep an eye out for a rewards program from us looking similar to your favorite mug club at your favorite brewery with some in-store incentives, some giveaway treats, and things like that for people who are in Gloucester, kind of doing their daily walk by the storefront, you know, give you a good reason to pop in, something for your dog to look forward to. And for our friends who see us at farmers markets and other pop-ups, we're not forgetting about you there. We'll have some, you know, traveling incentives on that as well.
Yeah, very excited. We'll kind of focus that around our pup cups as the idea of like the beer in lieu of the beer. Your dog gets a mug and they get a pup cup every time they come in or whatever. We're also doing a lot of seasonal treats and holiday treats coming up. So last year, our very first like seasonal treat was a turkey cranberry flavor. So that will be coming up soon. We're having a really hard time sourcing cranberries. I don't know if there's like a cranberry farmer out there listening. And then we did Christmas and Hanukkah boxes last year. So we take our treats and then instead of like the typical dog treat icing that you see on some of those like really designed cookies that look like sugar cookies, we take whole foods, whether it be fruits, vegetables. I think we're even dabbling in doing some meat options, but and we dehydrate them and grind them up into like food confetti. And then we dip our treats in that to make them like really pop, really bright in color. So we did red and green ones last year, which were topped with cranberries and peas. And we did blue and gold ones for Hanukkah, which were blueberries and yellow bell peppers.
You guys are really putting the extra effort into these dogs. The one thing I don't know if we dove into this to explain this key differentiator, but I want to even give it a shot at explaining it. So every dog owner goes through this point in time where they want to give their dog a big treat. They come home, the dog was awesome the whole day, running around doing errands, whatever it may be. They deserve a good treat. Go lay in your bed, enjoy yourself, a little bit of downtime. But then there's also like, hey, we're going to go out for a walk. We're going to get some exercise. There's going to be exposure to other dogs, to kids. There's going to be times where you got to behave, right? And we bring these little tiny reward treats. So you can give them a bunch, but we're not trying to fatten up our dogs, right? This is a micro good boy treat. And what you've done is the key differentiator on like your first product was you stamped out the Massachusetts state logo as the big treat, and then you punched a hole in it, like a little round hole in it, to create this little micro treat. And you put that treat bag, the little treat bag, inside the big treat bag, so that when someone buys one item, in this case, there's other things, they have those at-home treats that they can go sit on their bed and enjoy. And you have this little bag of micro treats you can take out on your walk with you to symbol the good boy. No one else is doing that. It's a brilliant idea. It could be sold across the country. I don't know if you can patent that like differentiator, maybe not, before some large corporate rips it off. But I think it's neat, and I think people are happy when they find that out. And then maybe that little edge that gets people over the goal line to do it. Did I explain that right?
Yeah, it's actually funny. Our original tagline is "Give them what they deserve," right? So with that package, like you were saying, you've got that for when they're your best friend, and you've got the little one to go. So depending on what the situation calls for, you've got it covered.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the name. Like when I explain to people I'm originally from Michigan, but I've lived here basically as long as I've lived everywhere else I've lived. So I consider myself a Massachusetts resident now. So I consider myself a masshole, and everyone should be looking at that name with the endearing eye. Like that is that is all of the positive aspects of Massachusetts coming through in that name, the Masshole Biscuit Company. It is spot on.
Thank you. Yeah, there are some people. I would say, every once in a while, you get somebody who's like really offended by the name, but most people find it very endearing. And whenever anyone's offended, I say, I was born here in Massachusetts. I've lived in Massachusetts my entire life. I am so proud to be a masshole. And like, we're really excited to be doing some stuff focused around that. Like, what are massholes? Massholes are good neighbors, right? Like, you want your neighbor to be a masshole. Massholes pick up after their dogs. Massholes feed their dogs Whole Foods. Like, it doesn't all have to be focused on the fact that maybe we drive aggressively sometimes.
Yeah, we just use our horn to make sure that you're paying attention.
Yeah, we wanted you to know where you were going.
Right. Proactive driving, not aggressive.
Well, I appreciate you both being able to come on here and tell your story, and I wish you all the best of luck. I am a huge dog fan, so I'm going to be sending my friends over. I'm going to be spoiling some dogs myself, and I look forward to seeing you on Main Street once it's finished. So
Thanks. Look forward to seeing you and everybody else out there.
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks so
Go
much
get 'em.
for having us.
Masshole Biscuit Company, guys. Thanks.